Hello, Internet. So I'm going to be doing a quick Q&A here. I threw out on Twitter and Google Plus that ask me anything. I was going to take questions and answer them here on YouTube. Um, it was a bit of an experiment to see the people who follow me, what kind of content or what they, if I gave you no holds barred, what would you would ask? And most of you asked toy stuff. Not all of you, but some of you. So I figured we'd dive in here and pick through a handful of these and see what folks were asking. So let's get the toy stuff out of the way right at the top. HMRC Forever asks, I'm a huge Visionaries fan and love the review on Lexor. If a Japanese company got the rights, who would you pick for the figures? This is actually in reference to a conversation we had on Collection DX the last episode or two ago. I'm not sure which it was. For those of you who don't know, Visionaries was a quick, obscure toy line in the 80s that came and went, like many of the toy lines in the 80s. It was weird. It was different. It was the first line to use holograms. I was not a huge fan. I didn't watch the cartoon. I wasn't in love with it. So if a Japanese company was to make some, I'm not even sure it would be on my personal radar. But I'd probably say Bandai. I think that's I know it's an easy answer, but they're who, I would like to see get the license if it was up to me. Which, speaking of toys, Tondagasa asks me, 50 Veritech fighter-sized kaiju or one kaiju-sized Veritech fighter? Oh, I don't know. I'd say one kaiju-sized Veritech fighter. The Shiu asks, if you could own license or property to do with as you saw fit, which would it be? Let's see. So, yeah, obviously you're thinking if I could do anything I wanted with a Transformers or Star Wars or something like that. It's going to be really stupid. And 5 people would buy them, but I would literally buy the rights to the 1980 Flash Gordon movie, and I would make myself a Hawkman rocket cycle. It's the one toy that was never made that I wish was. So, Gord McLeod asks, have you considered doing another / more gaming podcasts? Hell no. I learned a lot by doing a video game podcast, and I will never do it again. It's a very crowded marketplace. There's a lot of people doing it. And for those who don't know, I did a podcast for a short while with my friend Brian Brushwood called the Cantina Band, because we were both very excited about Star Wars: The Old Republic. Unfortunately, when things started going that away in that game that the majority of the population didn't like, or even the minority of the population, depending on what the change was, would bring their most vocal complaints to me. It was a very strange thing. And when you do a gaming podcast, you kind of become the face of the game, and so it's very strange. And video games, not where I'm at. It seems to be such a divisive thing that it's not really what I'm interested in. However, I am very interested in launching a whole new podcast. I'm actually very interested in doing more stuff here on the YouTube channel. And that's kind of why I'm doing this here, is to kind of see what folks would immediately throw at me without any sort of coaching. So, thanks for the question, Gord. I appreciate it. Bill Meeks wants to know, do you have a favorite Doritos Locos taco? No. I'm a boring Taco Bell consumer, and I go straight for the traditional crunchy Supreme taco. I'm not a big fan of let's wrap it in 5 things and make it out of a Dorito, and that's just not my thing. All right, let's see who else we got here. Irregular Cog asks, what is a toy that had too much gokhan? So for those who don't know what gokhan is, it's a Japanese term for metal, And at Collection DX and with a lot of the Japanese toys, one of the things that we usually look for, and most collectors in that vein do, is lots of metal content. It was one of the things that separated the Japanese content out from, or the Japanese toys, I should say, from what the Americans were doing at the time. With that said, I have only ever really found one toy or one collectible over these past few years that just too much metal, and that would have to be the Batman figure. Oh shoot, I don't even remember who made that. It was so awful. I want to say it was Play something or other. I'm sure if you're a toy person, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a Singapore toy company. They made a 12-inch tall Batman, and they made him out of metal from head to toe, which did not suit the figure at all, and weight-wise, articulation-wise, it was just a horrible mess, and it really left me baffled as to who they were making that for. So that's the one that comes to mind. So thank you for the question, Irregular Cog. Ian Goforth yesterday says, or asks, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much as his little tiny arms could carry. All right, J-Man DX on Twitter asks, when is the Cantina band coming back? This is a great question. Back to that video game podcast thing we mentioned a few minutes ago. Cantina Band is the Star Wars The Old Republic show I did with Brian Brushwood. I literally spoke with Brian on Friday, I believe. We talking about doing just that. His schedule is really busy. He's got some stuff coming up he hasn't announced yet that I know is taking a lot of his time. We're both interested in relaunching it as a Star Wars podcast, probably bringing in someone else that he knows along with us for that. But it's not going to happen like tomorrow. We may be a few months away from that. But if you want to accelerate that process, by all means, please tweet at Schwood and ask him when we're going to bring the Cantina back. It will certainly light a fire under his butt. But don't tell him I told you that. Shh. There you go. So let's see here. I miss any of these? No, I think that's going to do it. So I just want to throw it out here. So this left me with most of the folks who interacted with me are my toy people. So make this clear. I'm going to continue to do Collection DX. I love doing Collection DX. So if you like hearing the toy stuff, that's going to continue to happen. But that's not really what this channel is going to be about. So I'll probably pop a video, ask you guys what you think about a couple of ideas. But if you have an idea off the top of your head and you've watched this and you're like, hey, Adam, I'd love to see you do whatever it is. Fill in the blank for me. Hit me up. Let me know what kind of content you would like to see me pursue next. I would really appreciate it. So thanks for watching. I'll probably try this again in a few weeks. And in the meantime, please like and subscribe. I promise some real content will be hitting the channel in the coming weeks. Talk to you later.